My name is AVERY. I'm a civil engineer specialised in water resources. I was part of the team that updated the master plan for Nairobi water supply. One of the reasons why we're not seeing huge floods is simply because it is a forested catchment. When rain falls on that catchment, instead of just rushing off into the rivers like it does here in Nairobi because of all the impermeable surfaces, it gets retained by the trees and the vegetation. Some of it will run off, but a lot of it will soak back into the ground to fill up the underground water reservoir, which then sustains us through the dry season. So it's like a bathtub. It fills up with water, and then it drains out through the river.
When it is 9 cubic meters per second, you will find the dam will be rising very fast because the volume of water coming through the river is quite high. But as of now, whatever is coming is 2.7 cubic meters per second. It's not what should be there at this particular time. I know many Nairobians are anxious whatever is happening in these areas. Here is what we call the spearing basin. When you want to desalute this dam when it is full, because you only desalute when the dam is full, we open a valve, that valve, and then you splash the water. You splash that water out there, and it goes all the way to those gibeons there, when you are splashing, when you are opening. If there was anybody who opened a gate here to discharge the dam during this month or any other month, you would have seen the disturbance with those vegetations. All those vegetations could have been washed away. For the last 4 years, actually there has been very low rains in the Aberdare ranges. So we have been using the dam to augment Chania River, because if there is no rain, then Chania River, which is the major source of water, doesn't have water. And the dam was supposed to augment the river flows.
The water is crystal clear. The water is still flowing. We have taken photos as late as last week, and the photos look the same. If there are changes, I would like to say minimal, and that's because of climatic variability or climate change.
We have seen a lot of rain, particularly in the savanna areas. In the Aberdare ranges, the rains have been very poor. The highest amount of rain we have received in any particular day has been 48 millimeters per day, particularly in Sasumua, where the rivers start, and then that water comes to the Dam.
The Ndaka-ini water source should have been supplemented by the Northern Collector project back in 2001. So we've been doing without these additional sources for nearly 20 years now. So that source is under constant pressure to supply water. I'm not surprised that it is low, because we've had 3 dryish years. I think if you look at the average rainfall for that area, it's been about 70% of average. Even in January and February of this year, it was below average. So it's only in March and April that we've had above average rainfall. Now, that means that the catchment has actually dried out to an extent, so its storage levels have depleted. We've got to look at much more efficient ways of using that water.
In Kenya, most of our catchments, most of our watersheds are affected by deforestation, they're affected by agriculture and other activities that are happening there. These have a cascading effect on the water itself, downstream, and the whole ecosystem. We must consider that water management is not just a water issue, it's an ecosystem issue. We must have cross-sectoral plans. The forest area must work with the water areas, biodiversity people must come in. It must be looked at as natural resources, not just as water separately, forests separately.
Even if it rains cat and dogs and we fill this dam, the infrastructure, the existing infrastructure for water supply in Nairobi, they are deficient. We cannot be able to meet the demand of water in Nairobi based on the sources we have currently. So as of now, whether it is raining or not raining, we must ration water in Nairobi.